Hey peeps, thanks for visiting my channel again one more time. I'm Larry, and this is the PipeCat channel. I'm going to do something today that I haven't actually done for a little while. For those of you who started watching my channel because you enjoyed pipes and cigars, and who are members of the YTPC, the YouTube pipe community, you will know the term Yabo. But a lot of people out there who aren't in the YTPC may not know what a Yabo is. Y-A-B-O is yet another box opening. I just happen to have yet another box opening for you today. And that box would be this one. Just got this today. You've seen our familiar package before. And look at the brand name. Yep, you guessed it. I bought another one. It seems like guitarsgarden.com comes out every year or so with something you just look at and you're like, boy, they're doing it to me again. They price something really low and it's something unique, and well, you just gotta have it. So I had to have this one. I will show you what this is. Let's open it together, shall we? I'm going to sort of manhandle this thing in front of the camera. The Razoo. I have not inspected this for any shipping damage yet. This is the first handling of this package, really, since I brought it up from the lobby. So, this item is something that I've got a little preface story about this. I had a guitar similar to what I'm guessing is in this box right here that I foolishly traded away, and since trading it away, I've regretted it. This is hopefully going to help me to recover some of my sanity from that bad trade. So let me get this open, and we'll go through it together to see if there is any shipping damage, what the craftsmanship is like, and we can discuss the uniqueness of the item. Typical foam coffin from Firefly. All right, the partial reveal. Usually there's a burial shroud on it. Yep, there is. Let's see what we get here. Wow, well, this is different from what I ordered, but surprise, surprise, it's in the color that I wish I had ordered, but they didn't seem to have any more of. So I ordered what they had. I ordered a sort of like a tobacco burst of this guitar, saying, oh, I wish they had some white ones left. I would have wanted a white one. Well, guess what they sent me? Let's take a peek. I don't like to destroy all the packaging because you never know if you have to, return something. But the bag I'm going to sacrifice this time because it's too much of a hassle to yank it out. Look at first look. You and me, first look. All right. I get so much of the bag off while it's laying in the coffin. I love the amount of foam that they use. They isolate these so well. That's why they don't ship them in an outer, double outer box. They don't need to. This stuff is like a rock, and it's so perfect for the application. I'm really impressed with this just looking at it for the first time. Let's get it out of the foam here. Typical case candy I can see in there. Little cord that comes with it. Truss rod adjuster. Bridge saddle height adjuster. And some twist ties. Those are my favorite. I order these so I can keep the twist ties. That's it. The guitar will just be thrown in some back closet somewhere. Alright, let's take a peek at my non-brown sunburst Nice Arctic white sort of color guitar, of which I have none until now. Look at this. What we have is a Firefly baritone guitar. 6-string baritone guitar. For those of you who are not familiar with a baritone guitar, what it is, it's a 6-string guitar configured much like, take a look, it's got that Jaguar shape, but the pickups, a couple of humbuckers, one volume, one tone, input jack or output jack is right in the front there. Hardtail bridge, no tremolo, which is good because I block all my tremolos anyway. I don't use tremolo. And string through the body strings. It came with strings on it. Oh, beautiful tune. That's X-flat demented tuning right there from the factory. So let's give this a look for, first of all, just look at the design. The pickguard still has that, that plastic film that they ship them with, as do the pickups. And initial, just overview, I love those inlays. Just big black blocks, man, you can't miss those. I love those. I'm so psyched that they sent me a white one. I thought I was going to get a brown burst one saying, but now I can say, yay! Look at the finish. The finish, I don't know how well you can see this with my little circle light there. But that is gorgeous. Firefly always does that. Their finishes are some of the best things about the guitars. The finish on them is amazing. And there's another thing about Firefly that I'm going to check right now. The fret ends. Oh my gosh. Not one sharp fret end. No sprout. They're ball end frets. They make them round like a ball, and it's quite amazing how they do it. What a job they did. The frets are large. Yeah, look like, I'm going to guess from the shininess that they're probably a nickel-based fret. They could be steel. I didn't really research that first. I basically bought this guitar on an impulse. Somebody did a video, and they said how great this thing was, and all I had to hear was baritone. Now that you know that I've bought a baritone here, I'm going to tell you my story of why I wanted one. First, let me show you some more detail. Take a look at that headstock. Nice upside down headstock. Isn't that cool? Yeah? Huh? Huh? Oh. JSN. It's a little fuzzy. I'm not sure why. What's what the back of the headstock looks like. Well, it's upside down, but you get the picture. Nicely made. With a little innocent white oval sticker that says Firefly. No, it does not say China, although that's probably right where this came from. Let's now look at the overall features. Well, we looked at the overview of the guitar, but the features. Like I said, hard tailpiece. Nice. Look at the saddles. I like those kinds of saddles. At the risk of smashing the guitar into something, I like those kind of saddles. They're highly polished. They're nice and smooth. Nothing to catch on there. No edges at all. I got my hand on top of that tailpiece, that whole bridge and everything, and yeah, nothing sharp. Everything nice and well-rounded. The knobs are a little bit stiff, but workable. Not bad. Not bad. I'm guessing they're probably like those dime-sized, Chinese pots that they tend to use. I don't have any real gripe with those. They usually work pretty well. 3-way toggle switch. Treble, blend, neck, Bridge, both and neck. I doubt that there's any kind of coral splitting going on in there. I really don't think there is. The binding is black. See the binding on the neck? Let's take a look at the quality of the binding up and down. Oh, yeah. I don't know how they do it, but they just know how to do it. They know how to do binding, and they know how to do frets. They know how to do the finish on these things. And the weight is nice. It's a real solid feeling guitar. Nice contour, you know. Belly contour. Rather important to old PipeCat here. Without a belly contour, I'd have to reach out 3 feet in front of me to play it. So, yeah. Oh, that's amazing. Now, I don't see any shipping damage on this guitar. The places to look for that, right where the neck is. Bolt-on neck. You know what I like to do with these bolt-on necks? When I tune these strings up to full tension, once I do that, I will take a screwdriver and I will just loosen these screws on the plate. Just a hair. Just not a lot. You don't ever want to loosen a neck while it's under string tension, but relax these just a bit and listen for that crack sound. Not the finish cracking, not the wood cracking, but that sort of little crackle of the neck seating itself just a fraction of a millimeter closer to the body from the string tension. It's a nice way to improve the tonality of the guitar. It just brings all the components closer together. You may or may not hear that little crack. Even if you don't hear it, tighten it up again afterwards. Make sure you tighten that good. In fact, what I'm going to do right now is, let's get a rough, let me take a look at a rough assessment of any areas of potential shipping damage. And I see nothing. Nothing. So far, not so much as a laminate crack, or I don't know if it's nitro with clear on top of it. I'm not sure what they use. I don't see anything amiss. I've gotten some nice guitars from Firefly. This one, after years and years of them doing it, they've got their touch down so well. This thing is perfect as far as I can tell. Not plugged it in. You've seen. You were with me for its birth out of the box. So I haven't plugged it in yet. Haven't tuned it up yet or anything like that. I don't know if the frets are completely level. I know they're very nice. Nice polish on them. They haven't had a chance to get the surface corrosion on them that they sometimes get from humidity. They haven't had a chance, which tells me this is probably manufactured not too long ago. And they cleaned it up nice. I don't see a blemish or a handprint anywhere on this thing except for my own. Now, the story of a baritone guitar. A baritone guitar is halfway between a guitar and a bass, let's say. It is tuned 1/5 down. So the 5th fret here, if you put a capo on the 5th fret, what remains of the rest of the neck is a standard guitar tuning. E, A, D, G, B, E, you know. That's where your standard tuning is. But the open strings are 1/5 of those. It goes down to a B. Now, if you tune it in typical baritone tuning, everything is 1/5 lower. So your E's are going to become B's, you know, stuff like that. And it allows you to play in a much lower register, but there's more than just that. There's more than just a lower register of strings. Because if you think about it, the capability of a regular guitar is down to an E, an open low E, right? And the capability of this one is only down to an open low B. But it's not just those 5 notes that are the difference between the two guitars. It's the phrasing that you can do below the standard, because your bar chords here below the 5th fret will have a whole flavor of their own. It's the interaction, not just those extra few notes that you get, but it's the interaction of all of them together, the harmonics between them, that changes. And baritone guitars have heavier strings. They have heavier strings. I think the high B string. I think the high B string is probably an 013 gauge. And I forget what it goes down to. Probably something pretty thick. Maybe like a 70 something. But anyway, you get thicker strings. You get different interaction of harmonics on the guitar. Because of that, those extra notes. And you may have noticed already that the scale of this neck is long. This is a 30-inch scale, which is a few inches longer than your standard, your Strat or your Les Paul. This is a longer thing, and it looks like the radius on this, I don't believe it's a compound radius. I don't think. And the fret radius looks to be pretty high. It's got to be more than 9.5. I mean, I don't think it's like a 12. Maybe it is. I'm not exactly sure. It's pretty high radius. They're pretty flat, in other words. They're pretty flat. I like that because now when you bend them, they tend not to, when you bend them, they stay in the same plane. They don't short out on another fret because of the big curvature. I don't have anything against lower radii, but I prefer flatter radii. The neck thickness, take a look at it. It's fairly thin. I guess you'd call that a C-shaped neck, and it's fairly slim. It is a gloss finish. The entire guitar is in gloss. It's not satinized. If you wanted a satinized finish, you could probably take some really fine sandpaper and probably just work it up and down and knock the finish off. I'm not going to do that. I like to keep the guitar the way it was built, unless there's an obvious improvement that needs to be made. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to try and tune this, kind of by ear. I got my telly for reference back here. That's a B note, which means this has to be a B note. That's approximate. This thing's almost in tune. Came out of the box almost in tune. If I put that capo up here in the 5th fret, I just have a regular guitar. I'm hearing buzz. The action's a little too low. I'm going to have to do some setup. That's normal. I mean, I kind of look forward to doing the setup on guitars like these when I get them. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to probably pause this video. I'm going to do that quick setup, and then I'll tell you what results I get. So let's throw a pause on it. I'll be back in just a moment. Well, I'm back, and I did a little bit of initial setup there. And really, upon close scrutiny, all I had to do to get this thing set up almost perfectly, maybe even perfectly, was to put a little slight bit of relief in the neck. It had a little bit too much back tension. I released the truss rod just a little, took about maybe a half a turn, and I helped it along the way. The best thing to do when you adjust a truss rod is, you put the Allen wrench in. When you put the wrench in and you go to whichever direction you're adjusting it in, either tightening or loosening, put some tension on the neck in that direction while you do it. So I wanted to relieve it a little bit. So what I did was I kind of put this down on the floor like this. I put my cheek on the back of the headstock, and I gave it a little bit of forward pressure, and then I released. It helps the truss rod to move and helps the neck to adjust more instantly. So I've done that. And now what I'm going to do is, for the first time with you listening, I'm going to turn on my amp and see how it sounds. See how the electronics sound. See how the pickups sound. Get the volume off. Get the tone all the way up. Waiting for my little stage right back there to warm up. I can't be loud because it's getting later at night, but this should be interesting. Interesting little tonal test. Sounds pretty nice and bright to me. You hear that? That's an open E-shaped chord, which becomes a B. If I wanted to play an E on this guitar, I would have to chord it down here like an A, because I have to play in the fifth of the original, of the other tuning. So if I wanted to play an E chord, literally an E, I'd have to make an A shape on this neck. Right? That's the key of E. But if I play an E shape, I get a B. Chain, chain, chain. Chain, chain, chain. See what I'm saying? You get that nice. That's the bridge pickup. That's the bridge pickup. Let's see what it sounds like when we switch pickups. So this is basically the bridge. Let's put it in the middle. This is the blend of both pickups. Everything's, 1/5 lower than you expect to hear it. It's kind of fun. And that long 30-inch scale is interesting. It's kind of, because I'm a bass player. That's what I do. And this feels almost like a bass. And that's pretty neat. That's pretty cool. I'm making a G shape down here. But what I'm getting is a D chord. If I wanted to put a capo on this sucker, do I have a capo over there? I did. Yeah, I do. If I capo this thing on the 5th fret, all of a sudden, I have a standard tuning guitar. Now I can play my E. We're still on the middle position pickup. Let's try the neck position. Capo off, because that's cheating. Interesting. It's a lot of fun to play a baritone guitar, but those thick, super long strings give you a character of tone that you don't get with a standard tuning guitar. So it's a very interesting beast to own. I'll tell you the story of my bad trade. I used to have a Fender Telecaster baritone, and I loved it, but at the time I couldn't think of many uses for it, so I wasn't using it a whole hell of a lot. And what I really needed for a project I was doing was a 12-string acoustic. Did not have one. I've got 3 now, but I didn't have one then. And so I ran an ad on Craigslist, just local Craigslist ad, and looking to trade. And some dude who showed up talking like a car salesman said, "I've got just what you're looking for. Let's do a trade." So, I said, "Well, why don't you bring it by and we'll see if it's a good match." And he showed up with this, it was a Yamaha 12-string, very inexpensive model. Probably the least of the 12 strings really that you could buy and still call it a name brand sort of. It was Yamaha. And it was all screwed up. The piezo pickup underneath the bridge was off center and half the strings didn't register, and because of that the neck was buzzing all over the place. And I mean, it had some tone once you messed with it for a while. But the guy was over there playing my baritone telly like, "Oh yeah, I love it. Oh yeah, I love it." I'm like, "Of course you love it. That's a beautiful baritone Fender. That's a beautiful guitar." And I was like, "I don't think this is much of a trade, guy, unless you want to do like another $200 on top of that." He's like, "Oh no. Look, Look, you know how to reach me, right? I mean, let's just keep them for a week and see what you think. I'm like, I already know. I know from just holding it for a minute that this is not a good trade. I said, if you want to do this trade, it's going to have to be some more cash from you or something else thrown in to sweeten it up. And he's like, all right, let's leave it like this. We'll do that if at the end of the week you're not happy. He goes, take that guitar, he goes, and, make it your own, mess with it, and even the case it came in was this shitty, one of those cardboard things, press board things with the, with the peeling vinyl on the outside, piece of shit that you had when you were 10, So, I didn't like it. But me being a nice guy, and I am, despite temper problems, I'm actually a pretty nice guy. I said, look, okay, all right. Never answered one of my calls ever again. I think my number was blocked because every time I called him, it went straight to voicemail or not available or something like that. And the address that he gave me was very generic, and I wasn't going to find him. So that guitar was gone. Anyway, make a long story longer, I took that Yamaha 12-string. I fixed the piezo. I fixed the bridge. I did some minor luthier work to get it to finally play and sound the way it was intended to. And when I did that, it turned out to be a pretty nice 12-string. It actually was. And the piezo, once I fixed it, sounded beautiful, more than I had expected that it would. A little bit of shimming here and there, and shaved off a couple things every here and there until I got it perfect. Once I got it perfect, I played it for a while. The case always sucked. I didn't get a new case for it, but I eventually ended up selling it because I came into some other 12 strings, like my blue Takamine that you might have seen my video on. That's beautiful. I've also got a Dean thin body 12 string that a friend of mine sold me that I'm in love with. And I've got what's the other one I've got? I think it's an Ibanez. I haven't dug it out in a while, but anyway. So since I lost my baritone Telecaster to a bad trade, I've wanted a baritone, but I just couldn't justify the expense. A lot of baritones are not very cheap. Nice ones are, a good sounding baritone tends to be a little expensive. Firefly, with the reputation that it's had with me, I know I've been kind of hard on the reviews on some of them that I've had before, but these lately, they've got really, really good. They've got really good. My last couple of Fireflies, with minor tweaking or even major tweaking, you can really make them into a honest gigging guitar, a real thing, the real deal. This thing in my hand so far, I'm feeling the real deal. Everything about it so far I've loved. I love the way it sounds. I love the way it plays. And it does, there's nothing like that rich baritone tone. This is actually a D chord. A D chord that you play like a G shape, This is your E up here. You play it like a barred A. He's a real nowhere man, sitting in his nowhere land, making all his nowhere plans for nobody. That's how you have to do it. It's kind of neat. It's a cool challenge. My opinion of the Firefly, what is it? Is it FFBA or something? I forget the designation. It'll be in the title of the video. But this Firefly baritone Jaguar shape, so far, I'm very impressed. All it took was a minor relief of the neck tension to get everything right, to get all the strings to stop buzzing, and the action is phenomenal. I'm way up here on the neck, and the action is like feather light, and it's not buzzing. I'm gonna have to adjust the pickup height to get the strength of sound that I want. The output, the pickups sound pretty nice. They're microphonic, like all Firefly pickups tend to be. Firefly humbucking pickups tend to be microphonic. What I will do with these, I will unmount them and I will wax pot them. Wax potting these is always the best thing you can possibly do. In fact, I've got some already wax potted Firefly pickups kicking around in my closet over there. I might just drop them in because I'm sure they're the same. The output seems pretty nice, and these pickups are actually quite far from the strings. You know what? Let's do it right now. Let's do it together. I've got my handy dandy screwdriver radarizer. Let's raise these. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fret down on the strings while I raise these pickups because I want to see how close to the string they come. You don't want to magnet too close to the string. You'll end up getting string warble. It'll rob some of your tone. Let's raise these. And they still have the plastic on them too. Is that moving? I think this screwdriver is a little bit too big for that application. Oh, you know what we'll do? Let's do the neck receding thing. Let's see what it does. Drop the volume. Let's try that neck receding trick. Right now the strings are tuned and up to tension. So what we're going to do is loosen this. Ooh, that's on there good. Just a hair. All 4 of them. Just a hair. We're listening. Ah, hear that? That's the sound I'm looking for. Last one. It did crack once. I think it did recede. That's all you want. You won't do any more than that. And then tighten them right back up again. Tighten them. Star pattern. Never tighten 2 next to each other. Always tighten across from each other whenever possible. Nice and tight, not tight enough to strip anything. There you go. That did crack a hair. I'll bet you if I check the tuning on these, on my Snark super tight tuner that I use, it will have just gone flat a little bit right there because it receded. Probably, I'm going to guess, maybe 0.01 of a millimeter, just enough to make a difference. How about some cheese? A little bit of distortion. Again, it can't get too loud. Shitty playing as always, but let's move it to the neck position pickup. Not that hot, but then again, the pickups aren't too close to the strings either right now. They will get harder when I raise them. Let's unsheath it. Back to clean. I prefer clean most of the time anyway. So there's your baritone from Firefly. I'm going to probably take the time, like I said, to wax pot these pickups or drop some in that are already wax potted and see what true output I get from them once I set them at the right height and everything. But I think you get a pretty good idea what that's going to sound like. I may or may not add more on to the end of this video. But if it ends right here, I'm just going to say thank you for tuning in. Thanks for watching my Yabo, yet another box opening. And I hope you have enjoyed this quick little opening and demo of the Firefly Baritone Jaguar-shaped guitar. And again, for the model name and number, look in the data underneath my screen here. You'll see. Boy, have I got away with words tonight, right? Look in the words things underneath the picture stuff. Do Details are in the metadata. And I want to say thank you all. Have a great night, and we'll talk to you soon.